Baruchim Abayim, and welcome to Torah Talks Chazak special Tuesday night program with special guests. Tonight we have with us a very, very special guest, all the way from Eretz HaKodesh, from Israel, Reb Eli Stefansky Shlita. How are you doing, Rabbi Stefansky? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, I thought you were going to start with the No, how does it go?
Good evening, Rabbi Isai. I'm actually sitting in, this is where I sit every morning to give a share. I've never done an interview from this spot, but for you guys, we're trying something different, something special. We actually have our morning cameraman, Gary Ben Moshe. He's in the booth up above, directing traffic and the cameras. So we're going to try something different, something new. Hey, Gary, show them how it goes. Zoom in, to zoom out. This is
hilarious, amazing.
I've never been here all by myself, talking just to a screen. This is amazing.
This is great, and we're really happy that the rabbi made the time to talk Torah with us. And before we jump into the topic, which is the exciting Daf Yomi movement that Rabbi Stefansky and MDY is involved with, if we could get a little bit of background of Rabbi Stefansky, a little bit about yourself.
First of all, I'm not a rabbi. I'm just Eli Stefansky.
Wow.
I grew up in New York in different, I was born in Lakewood. My parents moved around a lot. We lived in Flatbush, Far Rockaway, Five Towns.
Far Rockaway, Queens, just for the record.
Queens, right.
Queens,
I went to Darchi Torah. Then my parents made Aliyah. We moved to Israel. I was in Israel for 3 years as a child. And got married, learned in Kol for a number of years, 6 years, and then went to work. I was a caterer and then did real estate. Built up a real estate company, invested in real estate. Have a lot of stories about that for a different time.
This is in the US or Israel?
This was in America, in Chicago. I lived in Chicago and invested in the Midwest, where I still have properties in the Midwest. Nice. And at a certain point in time, I was in my, 8 years ago. So I was 41 years old. And I said to my wife, what about moving to Israel? And she said, okay. And took it from there, moved to Israel. And basically, it was one step at a time, started getting more into learning, started giving shiurim locally, then started Daf Yomi. And the Daf Yomi started to become popular. We went from 5, 6, 7 people, then 10, 20, 30, 40, to the point where we decided to build this base medrash. This is maybe the only place in the world that it's called Merkaz Daf Yomi. It's a room, it's a base medrash just for Daf Yomi. We have the screens behind me because we're very into the charts and different graphics. We have beautiful coffee machines. Probably you won't be able to, well, we do have cameras going that way as well, but for a different time, we have latte machines and hot cocoa. It's a man cave for Torah, this building.
Unbelievable. Wow. And when did you start teaching Daf Yomi? This cycle or the one before?
So I gave Daf Yomi shir in Chicago for 8 years, finished the cycle in Chicago. And here in Israel, we started 4 years ago, approximately.
Amazing.
And we moved into this building 900 days ago when they started Masechtas Brachas, the beginning of Shas.
Unbelievable.
By the way, just yesterday was 1/3 of Shas. Time flies. We just started a little over 2 years ago. We're one third through Shas.
Baruch Hashem, on a personal level, I jumped to the Daf Yomi bandwagon, and it's one of the best things a person can do and should do. And this is a question we have for you, Rabbi Stefansky, which is as follows, Reb Eli, that January of 2020 is when the new cycle started. So it's been 2.5 years since. So the question is, why should anyone right now, they're going to get inspired, they're going to hear about MDY, they're going to hear about your shiurim and your lectures. Why would one jump into it now when, it's the middle of it? What do you suggest?
Okay, the way I look at it is, Shas is not a beginning and an end. Yes, they had to start at one Masechta, but they chose start at Brachas and then end at Nida. But the way you should look at it is, it's a Ferris wheel. It just keeps on going around and around. And when you jump on, wherever you jump on, that's where you're going to get off at the end of the cycle. So if you start Ksubas, then 7.5 years later, you get off at Ksubas. You said, okay, I finished the shot. It doesn't matter. I tell people start today in Yevama, start on Daf Kuf Tesvav. It doesn't matter wherever you are. You just start right here, and then because if you're going to wait 5 years, you're missing crazy amount, 1,500 daf, whatever it is you're missing. Start today. Every day that you miss out is another daf that you're missing out. It's an opportunity that goes to waste. So
you're telling people to jump
once you
in.
miss the 2.5 years, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. You start today and you just finish. Everybody's finishing the same amount of svarim. It's just the question is when you're starting, when you're ending. It's all the same.
So this is a question we always get. So we started the new cycle of Daf Yomi with our Rosh Hashivas, that's our Aaron Walking of blessed memory passed away during COVID. And when we started promoting, we made a very big push and a lot of people joined, but we got a lot of backlash, I guess, for lack of better words, where they brought down that various different rabbanim say that if a person, a working person only has a little bit of time to learn halakha, which is basically what to do and how to live life. Don't do the Daf Yomi, don't do the Gemara, because you don't learn tachlis, what to do and how to act and do the mitzvot. How do you answer such a person? Because Baruch Hashem, MDY, Rabbi Stefanski, pushing the Daf Yomi all the way. It's exciting. There's a movement. There's energy in the air, and so many of our Talmidim, friends, community members, leaders are part of it. So what do we tell them?
It's a very legitimate question. Look, there are many, many different types of Limud Torah. There's Halacha L'Maisa, there's Daf Yomi, there's an Amud Yomi program going on. There's Kinyan Shas. Everyone has merit. You can't say that this program is better than this program. I'm not here to say that the only program in the world is Daf Yomi. As a matter of fact, I'm very into Halacha L'Maisa, and I spent a lot of time learning Mishnah Berurah and giving shiurim in Mishnah Berurah and taking the test on Mishnah Berurah, and I pushed a whole movement of one of the first calendars that came out. My family's very much behind that. So I'm very into that, and it's a very legitimate question. One thing I could tell you is that the Daf Yomi, and the reason why people learn Gemara in general and not so much Halacha, is because the Rishonim talk about it. Gemara includes everything. Gemara includes Halacha. So anytime there's a Halacha L'Maisa that comes out on the Daf, I try to point it out and talk about what the Achronim discuss in our days, how it's relevant to our days. There's Agada, there's Medrash, there's when you learn Gemara, you see how Kaviyach HaKadosh Baruch Hu thinks. It's his way of thinking, his way of figuring something out. The Rishonim say, if you only have one thing to learn, you should learn Gemara because it includes everything. This is Taisvus. It includes Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, Halacha, Agada, everything. Now, the other thing I'll tell you is, on a practical level, what we see is results. People that are doing the daf, I don't know about other shiurim, but especially with our shiur, they are changed people. You come in like this and you come out like that. I can't say the same thing for halacha. I don't know what happens in halacha. I can tell you that if you join the Daf Yomi, you will be guaranteed to be a changed person in a matter of a very short time. You become a better husband, a better father, a better yid. You have a better connection to Rebbeinu Shalom. We're always saying stories and bringing out hashkafa that comes out of the Gemara. Halacha has its place. You should do both of them. If you enjoy halacha more than Gemara, then do halacha. If you enjoy Gemara, I can just tell you that I see the results. I get the emails. Every shiur that I give here, I start with emails. Read a number of emails. And one of the most popular things that people do, it's already boring to read these kind of emails. It's like, Rebelli, my life has changed since I started doing the daf. Every single day we get 5 emails like that from somebody that's been at a yeshiva for 30 years and hasn't opened up a sefer in 30 years, from an 80-year-old guy that just started learning for the very first time, Bali Tshuva, Sfardim Ashkenazim, they're all saying the same thing. It's changing our life. Women write to me about how their husband's life has changed. We just had a woman that wanted to surprise her husband. She said, I don't know what to get my husband. The only thing I could think of is to give him a dedication on your shiur for the daf. And she begged me to call her. So I called her. She said, I want you to call because I wanted to tell you what this has done for my husband. It's changed his life. So
I've seen it on a personal
The proof is in the pudding.
Yes, Baruch Hashem, we've seen it ourselves. We have many people, like I mentioned, in our community that are learning with MDOI, with Rebelli, and you see they're changed individuals. I love the ad I saw in our local Jewish.
Now, so let me ask you.
Yeah,
Let me
sure.
ask you. If you have a guy, you know that this individual has changed his life. Going to this program of halacha, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe, but here's a guarantee to change. What would you advise him? Now, again, chas v'shalom, to knock another program, I won't do that because I believe in all programs. I even believe that some people should learn an Amud Yomi. Yes, it'll take them 15 years, and a lot of people get depressed on the way, but maybe that's better for them. Maybe they like going slower and more chazara, and there's a lot of merit to that because daf yomi, it's hard to do chazara. See that? So there's pros and cons to every program and every. The bottom line is people should learn Torah, whatever is good for them, whatever they feel comfortable with.
Talmud Torah Connect, Kulam Torah is the best thing. Learn as much Torah as possible. The more, the better. And it's true. We've seen people change through MDOI and Rabbi Eli Shirim. The local Jewish newspaper over here, the Queen Jewish Link, had a beautiful ad for MDOI this week. I really enjoyed it. By the way, the publisher learned with you, Yaakov Searle. He just told me that.
Yeah.
And there was a sign. The ad was like this: Hasidish, Sephardi, Ashkenazi.
I saw that one.
Everyone is learning the daf, and it's achdus, it's unity, it's a great thing. It's shalom, it's everyone.
It's so true, by the way. That element of it itself gives a lot of people chizuk. When you look at a live shir, you see the guy with the kippas ruga sitting right next to the guy with payas, curly payas, across from the Litvish guy, the more modern, the chayalim send us pictures with their guns, learning the daf. And we had in the last week maybe 10 people from Williamsburg and from different Hasidus that come. One of the biggest fans of the shir is a guy that hardly speaks English. It's like a second language, and he sends us videos, and he's pushing other Hasidim. So you have such achdus. I can only imagine that Rebbeinu Shalom is looking down on us and saying, "Wow, Klal Yisrael is getting together here, Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Litvish, Hasidish, to learn the Holy Torah."
Unbelievable. Geschmack, amazing, love it. So many people that are working people have a hard time learning or don't have the background where they would understand the Gemara concepts. Why should they join Daf Yomi when it could be a struggle, it could be difficult for them? What advice do you give to such individuals, Rebelli?
Well, this shir is specifically designed. We have in the shir, just like we have Hasidim, Litvaks, and Sephardim, we also have Talmidei Chachamim, other Magidi shir that give shiurim during the day. They come to listen to the shir. We have Kol guys that listen to the shir, come live every day. They just took a test on 860 daf Gemara. So, and then you have the beginner. The shir is for everybody. So I stick in sometimes lumdisha things for those guys, the basics for those guys. I want to share with you. I don't know if maybe Gary could show this on the screen. I could show it to you like this. But, yeah, thanks, Gary. This is how the shir goes. During the shir, I will show different charts. This is a chart that we just made 2 days ago. I'll tell you what the problem was, why we came up with this. The Gemara is discussing somebody who's a deaf mute. How do you draw a deaf mute? That was the question. How do you do it? I had this dilemma. I'm thinking about it all day long. How do I do it? If I do somebody that has a hearing aid, it might be sensitive, it might not be so sensitive to certain people. How do you draw a mute? You put an X on his mouth. Like, what do you do? Came up with this idea. This is somebody that's normal, not a deaf mute. And take a look what a deaf mute looks like. It's somebody that's holding his ears and his mouth in his hand. So now we had a whole sugya, and this is a woman who's normal, this is a woman who's a deaf mute, and then you just go, here's your sugya. You have a normal person who married a normal woman, and you have a deaf mute who married a deaf mute. So, and it just keeps on going like that. The whole, here, I don't know if you could see this. Are you able to see the,
we see everything, yes. We see the graphic.
This makes it interesting. As you're watching the shir live, take a look. I want to show you. So here's the normal guy, the top right corner. He's going to die, this potato head. He turns colors, he flips over, and then there's a little giggle going on from the guys in the shir, and then we move on to something else. So that's basically, this is what I wanted to show you. So it's for the advanced, it's for the beginners. I try to stick in as much English as I can, less yeshivish if possible, because there's a lot of Americans who don't speak that kind of slang, so to speak. So stick in a couple of English words here and there to give the basic understanding of the Gemara and how the style of the Gemara works.
At Chazak as well, whenever we organize Shirman events and lectures, we try to tell the speaker, the rabbi, please try to translate all Hebrew to English. Try not to only use Hebrew words. Even if you say the word simcha, try to make it, universal for someone that doesn't understand Hebrew, and say the word happiness as well. So I have a question to you, Rabbi.
We try. Listen, it's a struggle because I learned in yeshivas and I'm not used to it. But we try to stick it in. Also, we want to bring the beginners up a little bit and then let them struggle a little bit with some of the words, and eventually they'll get it.
Right. They'll figure it out. So many people have tried Daf Yomi in the past, but without success. I've had people. Let's take myself as an example. I tried 3 cycles ago when I was still in high school, and I went through, I believe, a few Masechtot, and then the cycle before that, after that, Baruch Hashem, I started, and then that year I got married. And then this past cycle, Baruch Hashem, thank God, my wife's on top of me every single night. It's gishmak, it's amazing. But many people have fallen off, the Daf Yomi, cycle. So what's a special sauce or the recipe of MDY? We hear so many people joining, loving, I have guys that stop me. You want a free Gemara? I'm like, yeah, what's this all about? This is gishmak, it's amazing. Let me hear a little bit more about this.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, we have a great retention rate. But one of the secrets is that, first of all, we have the camaraderie. It's a family. So people that are traveling, let's say we have different stories. We had somebody from Ramat Beit Shemesh that went to Muncie, no problem. Gave a guy a call there. Hey, I'm part of the shir. Can I stay by you for Shabbos? No problem. It's family. And that the feeling of family, of mishpacha, camaraderie, gives a lot of people chizuk, because you're not by yourself. You're part of a group, a larger group. You go in the street, you see somebody with the MDY cap, or you see the bumper sticker that says MDY, you beep to them. It's mishpacha, it keeps you going. One of the biggest tricks that I push all the time, and this really keeps people engaged and going, and especially now, because now we're basically almost done with probably the hardest Masechta in Shas to keep. You saw the charts. You have this guy dies, and it's the mother-in-law, the daughter-in-law, and this one and that one. People a lot of times get lost. And one of the tricks is, if you fall off the bandwagon, you come right back on, but you don't try to make it up. Because when people fall, it's because they try to make it up. They say, listen, I did everything from beginning of Shas, and now I have a big hole over here. I didn't do 50 daf in Yavamas. What do? I have to go back. And that going back ruins it, because they don't go back, then they never make it up. And what happens is they're done with Shas. If you could get that out of your head, the attitude is, wherever Klal Yisrael is holding in the daf, whatever daf, that's the daf we're doing today. What I missed yesterday, that's a different problem. Let me write it down. I'll get back to it a different time. When you have that trick, no matter what, I'm going to start today. I'm going to start Ksubis. Forget about Yavamas for now. Yes, I'm a perfectionist and I need everything to be so, but I'll get back to it later. Today, everybody's doing this and this daf. That's the daf I am doing today. That is a lifesaver. That's a Daf Yomi saver. That has saved hundreds and hundreds of people.
Amazing. I love it. But that's dafka specifically when you are behind 50 pages. But if a person is behind a few pages, it's best for him to try to catch, the catch onto those and continue forward, right?
No. If you're behind 3 pages, you just do that day. Every day you do that day's daf. Because when you're that's the power of Daf Yomi. You're with Klal Yisrael. Everybody's doing Kuf Tezvav. I'm doing Kuf Tezvav. You missed yesterday, you'll get back to the different time. In Daf Yomi, there's always a new start. A new Mishnah is a brand new perek. It's like a brand new Masechta. You just start from the new Mishnah, go. You can start from the 2 dots. You'll make it up. The Yetzer Hara always gets you. Well, you're missing 3 daf. Let's make it up. And before you know it, it's 4 daf. Then it's 5 daf. When you have that pressure that everybody's doing the daf today, there's no break. There's no Shabbos. There's no Yantav. There's no Yom Kippur. There's no Tisha B'Av. We're going to be learning on Tisha B'Av. Matzah Tisha B'Av, we all get together, we do the daf. When you have that pressure, that's what keeps you going. And that consistency is what changes people's lives, by the way. Because once you're consistent in that Avodas Hashem, there's other things that become consistent. Then you start doing Shnai Mikra, then you start doing Halacha Yomi. You add things to that consistency. You start working out, you're better on your diet. I'm serious. Everything changes, but you have to be consistent. Don't go back 3 days. Start today.
Powerful.
Do today's daf.
Have you ever missed giving a share?
So Baruch Hashem, I'm on a record now of 950 days straight.
I know, unbelievable.
It's Gata the Shmaya. There's no question with COVID and everything, and it's one of the things that keeps me going. It's like I'm trying to, outdo myself, and just I don't want to give up this record. I want to get to 1,000, and then when I get to 1,000, maybe continue. But Gary in the booth also has a crazy record. He hasn't missed. People are not missing the consistency. No matter what time you go to sleep, no matter what the wedding was last night, there's a share to be given at 7:15 in the morning, and that's a life changer.
One thing by us is that COVID, believe it or not, helped us at Chazak spread more Torah because we went to the virtual world. Is that true with MDY this year?
Absolutely. It was a blessing in disguise. Like everything else in this world, we thought, we moved into the building. We were here for 72 days. The place was packed. We built it a little bit too small. It only holds about 80, 90 people, and we had over 120 back then. People were standing in the back and everything. And then COVID came and we shut down the Beis Medrash. It was very, very depressing. Terrible times, we thought. And then somebody said, well, there's something called Zoom. Like, what's Zoom? Never heard of it. And then,
Same here, I never knew Zoom. I never heard of Zoom until COVID.
And it was a huge game changer. That's where, we were already online back then. We were doing YouTube Live. And we had, like 1,000 people, whatever. And it just grew from there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Zoom was very good for this year. A lot of shiurim closed down and people were struggling to find a new share. What are we going to do? They right away went online and, that's how a lot of our big people, they're part of it. What are you showing back there?
I think that's a crowd that you had during
pre-COVID. Crowds in the share? I don't see it for some reason. I see it in the, here we go. Okay.
There you go. This is pre-COVID.
Is it pre-COVID? What are you showing there? Is that pre-COVID or this pre-COVID? You sure? Because the walls are up. Maybe not. Okay.
Okay, but we moved in here, it was like so many people coming to learn Daf Yomi. So this Beis Medrash you're in is only Daf Yomi. Like no one could give like a regular share over there. It's feeler. This is just Daf Yomi.
It's built just for Daf Yomi. It's built for. Wow. We have a kollel. We have a kollel that I learn with in the morning. So they're not here yet because what?
In this building you're in.
Not yet. They're moving here. But in order to build this building, we built it on the property of a yeshiva. So part of the deal was that they get the building right after Shir. They get it for a few hours in the morning. So that's going to be over, Bezrat Hashem Elul. So then we're going to move in. But we have a kollel, the MDY kollel. So we're going to move here. And then the other shiurim that have to do with Daf Yomi. America's Daf Yomi. Anything that has to do with Daf Yomi. If you try to give a halacha shir here, absolutely not. Arois, get out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Rabbi, there's a lot of people that are doing the Daf Yomi, and they're on the bandwagon. What motivates them? I see a lot of them like trying to get others to join and get a free Gemara. Like they're pushing their friends. One guy was like cornering me almost in a sense. Jordan MDY. Like, what's their motivation? Do you pay each guy like a few $1,000s for each neshama? Is it really just
yes? Yeah, it's more than a few $1,000s. What motivates them is they see what a change it has done for them, and they want to share that. When your life has been flipped 180, and the trick is simple. You just have to do the daf. It's 45-minute commitment every morning or every evening. You can do it at your own leisure. You can do it while you're driving to work. A lot of people, especially these amazing New York drivers, they're watching the screen and they're driving in traffic, or they have the Tesla, so they just watch. They take their hands off, they let the car. So you can do it at your own convenience. That's and the people realize, I spoke about it this morning. When you get somebody to learn Torah, and because of you, he joined any shir in the world, it's not Dafka our shir, any shir. You share, share, you share in his mitzvah. Anytime he learns, every word of Torah that he learns is worth 613. You get a part of that, whatever it is, you get 613 or whatever Hashem gives you, but it's like a pyramid scheme, or there must be a better word for it. But when you get this guy and he gets somebody else, you're getting that other guy's chus. So they want those chusim. It's more than any money in the world. Like $1,000 is nothing. You get one guy to join a shir, it's a life changer. Get two guys, And those guys, by the way, those guys go home, they treat their wives better, their children better. And then the children see that they're spending time, instead of going on Netflix and this and that, they're opening up the computer to learn a daf shir at night. It changes the whole family structure. They see what's important to the father. So yeah,
100%. Definitely.
that's why they're doing it. I couldn't believe it myself. There was a street fair yesterday on Avenue M in Flatbush. A bunch of guys brought like this tent kind of thing, and they set up tables and they're screaming and trying to get people to join. I don't know, why? Because they see it, that it's important, that it's created a change in their life, and they want to give that over to other people. They want to share.
Can you tell me more about the free Gemara campaigns? Get a free Gemara. What's that all about? How does that work? What's the idea behind it?
How does it work? Exactly. Okay, great. Well, there are people in the share that really want other people to join. And like I explained, they want them to benefit the same way they did. So they donated Gemaras, and almost every Masechta we give out 1,000, 2,000 Gemaras. Basically, you join the share, you just commit to watch, 2-3 shiurim. You get a free art scroll Gemara, Hebrew, English. I think even
not the whole set, right? Just that Masechet.
One, and it's actually a limited edition MDY Gemara. So on the front cover, you have like some of my sayings. One of them is, it's not about, we call it daf yomi, but it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. It's about being consistent every single day, the yomi. So that's on the day, and inside it says, a bracha from us, etc. You get that, you go to joindafyomi.com/C, because
That's
C stands for
Chazak. So once again, joindafyomi.com/C. We're going to have it on the screen.
We want to see if people from Chazak are going to join. We'll see how many. We'll let you know.
Okay. We're going to publicize it to the world. We got to get everyone to join.
You get a free Gemara. Hey, what's wrong with a free Gemara? Now, it's interesting. This guy from London, a very wealthy guy, he came here. He came to visit. Every morning, Baruch Hashem, we have people that drive in from Yerushalayim, from different places, that they're from Chutz La'aretz. They come from America. They want to see this thing. What is this MDY? They've been watching it. They want to see it live. So almost every day. Today we had someone from California. You get from all over. So this guy from England came here. He says, listen, I'm very wealthy. He told me, more or less, he's saying, he's very successful, but the free Gemara got him. He couldn't resist the free Gemara. And once he got that free Gemara, he was hooked for life, and and he's since then given back, 1,000 Gemaras. But yeah, free Gemara, it's about chesed, giving to somebody else. It's a double thing. You're doing chesed and getting somebody to learn Torah. It's one of the best. I think it's one of the biggest mitzvahs that for people here in the shir, for like $30-$40, whatever it costs to buy a Gemara and ship it, you ship it, the guy gets a free gift from you, and that could change his life. If he gets involved, it could change his life.
So there's this.
Again, we're not looking at it as, just another learning program. You're learning a daf, you're learning this. It's a life changer. It's a game changer.
Changing a person's life. It's true. So the thing is, people have excuses. How do we cut out all the excuses of not joining the daf and turn from a pessimistic to an optimistic? People always have their excuses.
Absolutely. I mean, I've heard them all. There's not a single excuse I haven't heard. It's just it's the bottom line. If you know it's good for you, and most people have a deep down thirst to learn Torah, and learning Torah with us here. We created a culture where it's cool to learn Torah. It's really cool. A lot of the cool guys, the Hatzalah guys from New York, they started out, 2 Hatzalah guys joined the shir and they were very involved. Those 2 Hatzalah guys got over 300 Hatzalah members to join.
Wow.
Because it became the in thing to do. They have WhatsApp groups and this, and their own siyumim. It's geschmack. When something's geschmack, and it's not just, the guy is saying it could change your life. It literally changes your life. Why wouldn't you try it? So all the excuses fall away. I'm busy in the morning. I'm this. I don't have time. But you have time to work 12 hours a day. You don't have time to spend 40, 45 minutes. By the way, it's not even 45 minutes. If you listen on regular speed, it's 45 minutes. You go, all the apps today, you just speed it up, 1.5 speed. You get it done in 35 minutes. You're done.
Times 2, I do it for everything. Love it. Amazing. You save so much time. So everybody should be definitely jumping. I have
a little trick. I don't like when people do it 2 speed. So I have a trick. At the end of the shir, I speak very, very quickly to get to the end of the daf. So it ruins it for them. They can't do 2 speed. That's off. So the most they can do is 1.5 speed.
One and a half. Okay, interesting. I gotta share with you
Some
something
people
very
do too.
powerful. The Chazon Ish says a person that doesn't learn Torah for 3 days, it becomes bitter to him. Just like the Jews, they were in the desert and they didn't have water for 3 days, and they tasted the water. What was it? It was mar, it was bitter. So what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Moshe Rabbeinu? To take a stick and throw it into the water, which was an extension of himself in a sense, and the water became sweet. So same thing with a person that's not learning Torah for more than 3 days, it becomes bitter. It's a little bit, but what does he have to do? He has to take himself and jump into it. And that's what we're telling everyone to do here today. Every single one of us know the importance of learning Torah. We've heard about it, we know it. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam is the most important thing. A person just has to jump into it and he's gonna see how enjoyable it is, like a child in a swimming pool, right? He's scared to go in, it's cold, I'm gonna drown, but once he's in there, it's hard to get him out. So that's what we're encouraging him to do. Join dafyomi.com/C. Join dafyomi.com/C. Rabbi Stefanski, if there would be one story that you would tell me of MDUI, of teaching Daf Yomi, of something crazy that happened to someone, of your experiences over the years, what would it be? And I see you're thinking about it because, by the way, Rabbi Stefanski,
There's so many stories. There's so many.
One, the best one, or the one that comes to
Best
mind.
one. Yeah. I wish I would have known about this question beforehand. The best one.
Trevor told me, don't warn him about anything. Just throw him fastballs. Don't worry about it. You can bring anything onto him. So I'm doing that, Rabbi Stefanski. Wow. You have so many every single day. The emails you're saying.
Well, there's one about the achdus of MDY and the family element of it, and that is there was somebody from the shir who had a very sick son. He was a 8-year-old child. He was on Zoom every day, this person, and we didn't know who he was. He would never show his face. It said his name was Chop, C-H-O-P, and we never knew what that stood for. And then one day, somehow we figured out that CHOP stands for Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, I think, of Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
Of Pittsburgh. And to make a long story short, it turned out he was a younger man from Lakewood. And when people found out about it, they started showering him with gifts and sending stuff to his children at home. And there's a long story where he got stuck in the hospital with this child because of COVID. They wouldn't let him out and in, and he had to be in the hospital. So they bought him laptops for him and his family. And eventually, somebody even sent him a pillowcase with the MDY logo, and he put it under his son. And unfortunately, Yerachmiel, this boy was nifter. And at the shiva, one of the Lubavitcher Hasidim from Crown Heights, Shlomi Klein, drove in, I think it was over 2 hours to get to Lakewood. And when he walked in, he was saying to himself, he's going to be in and out. It's going to be a 5-minute thing. He'll say hello, he'll say Hamakim Menachem, and run out. So he walks in, he says, you don't know me, but, and the father stopped him and said, I do know you. You're Shlomi Klein. I see you on Zoom. Of course I know you. Have a seat. And he sat and he schmoozed for 2 hours. And here's a Litvish guy, a Litvak from Lakewood, with a Lubavitcher Chassid, and they're schmoozing it up for 2 hours. And the father wrote me an email. He said, it was so menachami to see how many people came and the schmooze with this Lubavitcher Chassid. And then later on, we made a siyum. It was Mesechus Pesachim. Then we made a siyum Mesechus Pesachim. And the father, I don't know why he did this to me, but like in front of everybody, well, not so much. There was a bunch of people watching. He says, I want to give you a gift. And I open up the box, whatever, and inside the box is the pillowcase that his son was nifter on. His son was slept on, that had the MDY logo. So that was all. It was right before Pesach, so I used it for my the pillowcase for leaning, and I showed it to everybody, the family, and everybody's crying. It was a very touching story, but it's a story of Achdus and Torah and how Torah could bring Klal Yisrael together from all different factions, and just getting together and be mechazik people. And the Chassid from Monsey said, I never even knew what a Litvak was. I didn't. He told me, he just told it to me this week. He said, somebody said that this Litvish guy with a down hat made a siyum. He goes, how is it possible that such a modern guy. Like, he didn't even know what it looked like. He didn't know this, that they learned, like he had no idea. He was in a different world. And this opened up something like, now he's best friends. He has guys from the shir at his house for Shabbosim. It's a family. Another story. This younger man shows up here to this base medrash last week. His name is Lubelski, I think it was. And he tells me, I got to tell you, he watched one of these interviews I've done, meaningful people. And he was very inspired. He said, look, if this guy Stefanski took off a bunch of hours of his day from work to give a shir, maybe he should also do a little bit like that. He works enough. Why does he have to work the entire day, 14 hours? Hashem will give him the same parnasa. It doesn't matter how many hours he works. So he took off a few hours and he started giving a shir in Yiddish. The Eraisa program, in Yiddish. And he says that within a very...
Rabbi Oldham, just for the record.
Yeah, so if you check, you could check it out now on Eraisa.com. He said that his shir now goes out to 3,000 people. Here's a guy that was inspired by the shir, and his own shir has 3,000 people. So if it's 1,000 people, 2,000, it doesn't matter, hundreds of people. It's unbelievable the schusn that this guy is getting because he took that jump, he took that plunge. Anybody could do it. So you don't want to give a shir, you don't have to give a shir, but just jump right in and chop right a little bit Torah.
Amazing. So Rebelli, there's so many Daf Yomi shir, so many Megiddo shir. And Chazei Hashem, Baruch Hashem, thank God, your shir, MDY, Rebelli Stefanski, for lack of better words, blew up. Like everywhere you go, you see the guys with the hats. I was even in Eretz Yisrael. I happened to be at the same time there was some sort of a scene, and I was, in the Kotel tunnel that a VIP tour. I see a huge group of guys, many guys I knew from Queens and from the New York area, and they were in the airplanes, and they're trying to, sell, quote unquote, the guys to join the Daf Yomi shir. What would you say, Chaz Hashem Baruch Hashem, thank God, helped make this a massive Blian Hara, Chaz Hashem, thank God, situation? What made MDOI what it is today? What would you say took the shir from point A to point B to the next level?
First of all, it's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there's no. It's a combination of many different things. It's the charts, it's the humor during shir, it's the stories, the hashkafa, the guys, the camaraderie, the achdus, everything about it. The fact that it's so easily accessible. It's a video shir. People feel like when they're watching it on video, they feel that they're there. There's a lot of shiurim. It's an audio, so they don't feel like they're there. Or even if it's a video, the very few video, but if it's video, it's recorded in a studio and it's just one-on-one with the camera. Over here, you hear people laughing, people ask questions. It's just a combination of many, many different things. The fact that I myself, I'm not a big Talmid Chacham, I'm a balabas, I'm a real estate guy. So a lot of people feel connected to that. They don't want to. They had enough of the Rosh Hashiva with the big beard telling them what to do and how to learn and being all serious and this and that. They're seeing that Torah could be amazing and fun and accessible. It doesn't have to be like it was in Yeshiva. Maybe
for the balabas factor. Have you gotten backlash for that? The fact that you're a balabas and no beard and things along those lines, or Baruch Hashem, people connect with that?
Not so much backlash. Well, people try to tell me, why don't you grow a beard? And during the 9 days, it's coming up now. I'm gonna have to grow the beard for 3. They'll say, why didn't just leave it? It looks great on you. That sort of thing. Not so much backlash, but it's like people will say, what do you know? How do you? And I don't. I tell everybody, I'm not. There's much better learners than myself. There's people that know halacha better. I tell them, don't rely on me on this halacha. I'm just quoting. You can't paskin based on it. I might not know the pshat. I make mistakes all the time. People like that. I'm vulnerable. I'm not this guy that knows everything. I don't know Shas by heart. I don't have that good of a memory. So all those things combined there's a product that people relate to.
Amazing. You're relatable. You connect. We're having this Torah talk. It's so enjoyable just talking Torah with you. Discussing MDY. Tell us a little bit about preparing for this year. Obviously, giving this year, let's say it's 45 minutes, but as one that gives shiurim, I know that to prepare behind the scenes, the world should know it takes time, and I'm sure it does for you as well. How much time, effort, kaiches is it?
I was just thinking about this. I started with the program called the 8-minute daf. The 8-minute daf is a synopsis of the daf yomi in 8 minutes or less. So somebody once asked, so how long does it take you to prepare? 8 minutes? I'm like, no. The 8-minute daf takes about 2 hours. So
2 hours for 8 minutes.
yeah, at least, because I have to take the whole daf, the synopsis, and put in what I need to put in, and type it, and then record it. So if you extrapolate from that, if 8 minutes is 2 hours, so 45 minutes is, it takes, the bottom line is it takes all day long, all day. And I get up really early in the morning. I give shir at 7:15. I'm up hours before that, preparing the final touches. I do most of the charts myself, so I have to do that as well. So it's all day. I pretty much had to give up my business. I have a great partner, Benzi Friedman, that deals with it day and night, and I have almost nothing to do with it now. So I ran out of time during the day.
Claudia Stroh, on behalf of Claudia Stroh, I don't know if I could speak on behalf of Claudia, so it's very much appreciated. It's not simple. We know how difficult it is. Ashrecha Yeshukach. Rabbi Eli, we have a minhag, we have a custom on Torah Talks.
Oh, 1 minute before you tell me the minhag, I want to tell you something interesting.
Sure, please.
I was right after this Pesach. So what was it, like a month? No, it's Nun Gimel. I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was 60 days ago. Yeah, so 2 months ago. They asked me to come to New York and give just a shir in Gemara, Daf Nun Gimel. So I said, okay. So I said, where are we going to do it? We need like a little shul or something. So we got a great shul for you. I think it's called the SLC, the Sephardic Lebanese Community Shul in and Avenue T over there. So I went there and I couldn't believe my eyes. 800 people showed up to this year. It was a beautiful event. Why am I telling you this? Because I am flying to America. We're doing the Siyum on Masechtas Yevamos in America, in Deal. Everybody's invited. So you go to mdysiyum.com to register. It's going to be an event like no other. So far we have 800 people that already signed up. And it's already, there's still time till the Siyum. So we're anticipating over 1,000 people. You have 1,000 people, all from the same mishpacha, all there for the same cause, dancing and just we're having Rabbi Ben Shushan from Los Angeles fly in and give us a speech, amazing speaker. So it's going to be a great time. So everybody's invited to come check out. If you're not sure yet, if you want to do the daf, come check out the Siyum in Deal, New Jersey. It's going to be
when
amazing.
Is it again? What's the date for that?
What?
What's the date for the Siyum?
July 7th.
July 7th, MDYC.
July 7th. July 7th in Deal.
MDYSeam.com.
Yeah.
MDYSeam.com. All invited, even if they might not have done the daf yet.
Correct. If you just want to check it out.
Come on.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, there's a $49 entrance fee, it's heavily subsidized, but there is a fee. And you have to register before you come. You can't just get in there.
And there's already over 800.
You want to come register? What's that?
Over 800 people have registered already?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's in somebody's backyard. There's a 15,000-foot tent. That's how big this thing is. It's going to be unbelievable. We had a Siyum in Ramat Bet Shemesh with over 1,000 people for the Siyum on Seder Moed. The people walked away on such a high. We're still feeling the high from that. It was crazy. The Achdus, you see Streimels. We have a picture of just Streimels and Kippas Rugas and the long pace and no pace, the beers and the Spartan and Ashkenaz, unbelievable, just dancing and unbelievable time, drinking and eating. I feel the
energy from the screen. I feel the excitement in the air. That's for the theme of the Shas. What's the vision? Where you got to get some sort of a stadium, Rabbi.
I told the guys we're gonna do a Siyum on a cruise ship. We got to rent a cruise ship. That was in Shabbos. We might have to. Somebody just sent me. Oh, they're selling cruise ships now for cheap. Maybe we should buy one. But we'll see. It might not fit everybody. Who knows? Only time will tell. Lot.
Amazing, lot. That's one step at a time. That's how we make things happen.
One daf at a time. One day at a time.
It's not the daf. It's the yomi every day. Give out the amazing. So I was thinking about the minhag, Rabbi. The minhag is by Torah Talks. Our program is one final powerful message for our broad audience whether it's a story inside a chiddush, whatever it may be. You could throw us one last grandson. Everything was mamash gems, and we appreciate every word. It's geschmack. It's amazing.
Okay, again, you're putting me on the spot. So I'll just say this. This is advice for business in my life, in my business life. And you can use the same advice for anything, for Torah, for anything. And that is that you have to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't let those people knock you. So when it comes to real estate, my first deal that I did was I purchased 2,000 apartments. And everybody told me I'm crazy.
Your first
don't
deal?
do it. And they were right.
Your first deal in real estate was purchasing 2,000
That's right.
apartments.
2,000 apartments.
Okay.
And in Indianapolis, which I still own a lot of it today. But that was in 2005. You have to believe. Don't listen to those knockers. Don't listen to those other people, because the only thing between you and a great real estate deal, the only thing between you and finishing Shas is you. Because you are you're self-doubting yourself. And when you stop self-doubting yourself, you say, I could do this. I could buy 2,000 apartments, and you could do it. I can finish Shas, you could do it. If you say, I could take on this Daf Yomi, you could do it. The only thing that's stopping you is some voice in your head that's telling you, it's not for you. How are you going to do it? You're going to fall off soon anyway. You don't understand. I don't have the skills. So that's you talking yourself out of this unbelievable deal. So just like lahavdil in real estate, you could achieve crazy achievements coming out of Kollel and whatever it is. Anybody could do it. If Stefanski could do it, you could do it also. The same thing with Daf Yomi. And it's the same model. That's why I took that kind of hashkafa or self-advice, and I took it and I transferred it to the Daf Yomi. It's the same idea, same concept. There was a lot of naysayers that told me, don't build this building. All my friends would tell me, you're crazy, you don't need it. What do you need it? You're not gonna fill it up. And now those same people, I exaggerate not, this week, one of them told me, Ellie, you built it too small. I'm like, but I want to remind you that you told me not to build it at all. He says, you're right. But now that you build it, listen, we have more than 100 people every day. They don't fit. Don't listen to those people. Don't listen to the self-doubt. Do what you need to do, and you'll be successful.
Amazing, Rebbe Eli Stefanski. MDYCM.com. Join dafyomi.com//C. That's very important, guys. Don't miss that part, because they're going to say,
I want to see the Chazak audience. I want to hear an email. I joined because you are Chazak. By the way, one of the first interviews I've ever done is with meaningful people, and I had a big shiloh. Should I do it? Not do it? Gaiva, not gaiva. I said, if one person will join because of that program, it's worth it. I'll take the risk of gaiva, etc. The amount of people that came from just that one program, and Be'ezrat Hashem, from your program, to Kefal Kaflayim, Chazak, V'nitz Chazek.
You got to end up with the one more time, Rabbi, please, for the audience.
Chazak.
You're smart, amazing, Rabbi Eli Stefanski. See the MDY for all that you do. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. Yagdol Torah V'yadir. Continue spreading Torah very, very far, all over the place. It's amazing. The movement is exciting. It's unbelievable. Chazak's really happy to partner and to work with you on this Torah talk, and to spread more, people to join MDY. It's on the screen right in front of you. Please make sure to log in, and don't just do it for yourself. Get your family, get your friends, get your neighbors, get your coworkers, get involved. It's life-changing.
I forgot to tell you. We're starting one of the best, most geschmackes. You ask any yeshiva guy what his favorite masechta was, most of them will tell you Ksubas. Ksubas is by far one of the most popular masechtas. So we're about to start it. It's the best time to start. You will make a siyum shas when we're finished Yavamas, Be'ezrat Hashem.
Amazing. Thank you very much for joining us every single Tuesday night. Chazak Torah Talks with special guests. Chazak.org/live on all the platforms, Apple, Spotify, social media, all that stuff, I guess we'll say. And of course, Torah anytime. And thank you very much to Rebbe Eli Very special shout out and thank you to dailygiving.org. $1 a day goes a very, very far way. Shout out to our entire team over here, the technical team and the office staff, and Robbie and Rahman and Natan Abel, Natan Behar, the whole staff over here. Special shout out to your videographer, Gary, as well. Thank you very much for all your help. And last but not least, special thanks to our dear friend Nisana Gans for initiating and making this happen. For all that he does behind the scenes.
The best. Nisano is the best, by the way. He's unbelievable. I love Nisano.
Very good. We shall be Zoched merit to see the Geulah Shalom, the complete redemption. We'll join you in Eretz Yisrael, Ben Rabbi Aminu, spending our days. Amen.